We got one more question. Joe Williams, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, thanks. One of the candidates could address the rail corridor controversy and what they think would be the highest and best use of it. Thanks.
All right, so we'll same thing, 1 minute each, and this time we'll start with Justin Cummings.
Well, as a city council candidate, I supported rail trail, and that position has not changed. And I will just say that last week I actually was working with Councilmember Sandy Brown, our mayor and city manager, to get an item put on our agenda so that we can address the recent issue of the adverse abandonment of rail for the Roaring Camp line. You know, I can't express how important it is that we're exploring and investing in alternative modes of transportation, and rail is something this community has been committed to for a very long time. Right now, we're seeing unprecedented amounts of funding go towards infrastructure, and we need to explore rail so that future generations have a carbon-free alternative to driving cars to commute in our community. I know this is a controversial issue, but if we're a community that's committed to finding solutions to addressing climate change and our carbon emissions, we must invest in rail yesterday, which means we owe it to our future generations to invest in rail now. This notion we can remove the rail and they'll come back, I don't think is true, and I think that we need to really think about how we can make rail a reality right now.
Thank you, Justin. Next up, we got Shebreh Kalantari-Johnson.
Thank you. I also supported the rail trail as a council candidate, and I continue to do so. I support preserving our right of way on a rail corridor and maintaining an option for alternative modes of transportation that could decrease our greenhouse gas emissions. We all have seen in the last couple of years the impacts that climate change has, so we need to take bold action. And as my colleague just mentioned, there is funding coming through for transportation infrastructure, and the rail corridor offers us a tactic to address that. Thank you.
Thank you, Shebreh. Next up, we got Thomas Ramos.
Yes, I mean, I think the corridor needs to be preserved, and I appreciate all alternate solutions for that. I probably will be a little unpopular here. I think rail is a wonderful mode of transportation, and it actually does work in Europe. I don't see it working very well throughout California. We're no longer attached to just internal combustion engines. We're the leader in electric vehicles, electric cars, electric bikes, and I want to keep it open so people can use that corridor. But I don't see rail as a forward-thinking alternative. I want to keep the corridor for clean use, but I think rail is going to be a costly endeavor. And again, I think we need to focus our funds on essential services and today. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Next up, we got Jimmy Dutra.
Thank you. I do agree that we do need alternative modes of transportation. And with this issue, I believe it needs to go to the voters. I've always said this from day one. The voters need to be able to decide on this issue because they're going to have to decide whether or not they want to tax themselves. I come from a community that does not share the wealth that the north part of the county does. And, you know, people really do depend on their paychecks. And this is something that they ultimately have to be the one to make a decision whether or not they want to invest in us. I understand the position from other people. I understand both sides, and you know, this is where I stand, and that's it has to go to the people. The people need to be the ones to vote on whether or not they want to move forward with it. But something needs.
Thank you, Jimmy. Next up, we got Felipe.
Thank you. I unequivocally support rail and trail. You know, listen, I was, you know, one time I met with workers from Threshold that were organizing with the Teamsters, and you know, all of them were from Watsonville, and they work in Santa Cruz. And I asked what were their demands, and they said to move their time that they work from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. And the boss didn't want to budge. And I asked them, that's their demand? And they said, yes, because it'll save us not just time, but money. They can get across the highway in 30 minutes as opposed to an hour and a half back and forth. And it made sense, you know? And I thought, man, if we had the rail, they can just get to work there. And, you know, they can't do that on e-bikes. They can't take their kids. They said they could take their kids, you know, in the morning. If they go at 10, they get to take their kids to work and to the school and to the daycare. And so, you know, we need a different mode of transportation for workers in Watsonville. It's about the people.
Thank you, Felipe. Next up, we got Cove Britain.
I have to say this is one of the things that really frustrates me, because the fact is it does not work financially to put this in. But as an architect, I can tell you the way it does is that you start putting housing next to the rail, and then it works, and that's going to happen. But right now, it does not work, period. It's not a question. And if somebody disagrees with you, that's fine. Yeah, that's the way it is. But I am very clear about it, and I'm very sure of it, that financially right now as a rail, it doesn't work. I do think it would work in the future, but we need to change the discussion. The discussion needs to be put housing next to the rail trail. Then it could be viable.
Thank you, Cove. All right, so we're gonna move on to closing statements. We're running up against time, so we're gonna start this off with Felipe Hernandez. Why should the Monterey Bay Central Labor Council endorse you? And give it 1 second, please, while we get the clock up.
Ready?
We are ready to go.
Thank you. It's great to be here in the House of Labor. Look, the 4th Supervisorial District, and for that matter, the County Board of Supervisors has only had one Latino supervisor. And Watsonville is about 85% Latino, and local government should reflect its population. Look, I was born into the union. As a child, I was on the picket lines at the cannery. And one of my most powerful memories was watching my mom talk to UFCW store workers at Lucky's, and then to Teamsters, truck drivers, and then watching them unload refrigerated frozen food items on Freedom Boulevard. That was powerful, and that was union power. Since then, you know, I've become a union political organizer for UFW, a SEIU International External Organizer, and then a champion for labor on the city council, a champion for labor on the Cabrillo College trustees, and I want to continue to protect pensions, to maintain health plans, to maintain PERS, and I want to continue to attend the labor actions and to be a champion for labor. I want to continue to be the labor champion as your 4th district supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you, Felipe. Next up, we got Jimmy Dutra.
I just want to say thank you all for your endorsement. When I just was elected last year in 2020, we had a really strong win with almost 64% of the vote. So it was a great year. We worked hard. As mayor, we made sure that we got the vaccine down to South County when we were disproportionately hit. It was a big fight to get the vaccine there. We did it. We raised over $30 million for our parks, for our employees, for programming, and we also tried to bring some joy back, you know, by having bike lanes, and we raised thousands of dollars to put, you know, beautiful holiday lightings down Main Street. We worked hard here. The voters believed in me, and we were making sure that contracts were being fairly reached. Hazard pay wasn't even this either. These are things that we wanted to make sure that were that our employees were receiving. So always be heard. We will make sure that labor, as a union member, I understand, like I said earlier, what we do for each other, and we're the backbones of the community, and I will never forget that. I also want to, Felipe is a very good friend of labor as well. You have two great candidates who are going to be here working hard for you either way. So, Fourth County is going to be in good hands. I hope, earn support. But
Jimmy,
first time in a long time that
Jimmy, you were cutting off the last 10
Thank you.
seconds and somebody unmuted themselves.
and for to
Try turning off your camera, Jimmy.
Jimmy,
Help
can you
with
give
your
us like
internet
a last?
connection.
better.
Yeah, that sounds a little
This
better.
is
Maybe give us.
I will also continue to work hard to get broadband throughout our cities. This is a problem that we're all facing. You can imagine the students in their schools dealing with this. So, bottom line is I'm going to be a big voice for all of us here in South County. I hope to earn your support, and being a union member was one of the greatest experiences that I had, and I will continue to work for all of us. So thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Next up, we got Cove Britain.
You're muted.
I keep on doing that. Sorry. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. I have to say that I entered this race because I wanted to talk about things that I thought were really important. This is not a move up for me. My wife's not happy about it, all that stuff, yada, yada. But the fact is that I do know far more about the county than any other of the candidates, respectfully. What they're doing, who the personalities are, what's going to function. And I'm supported by people that are past planning directors, public works directors, so on, because that's what I know. And I'm not a good politician at all. I was told by my wife I'm horrible at it. But the fact is that I am good about getting things done and going from point A to point B and protecting the people and being a champion for the people that are least protected. And I don't have platitudes about it. I don't have political background about it. But if any one of you ever wanted to look at what I've been doing, you'll see that's what I do. I am trying to help people. Yes, I work for wealthy people, but it taught me how to protect people that can't. And I hate what this county does.
Thank you, Cove. Next up, we got Justin Cummings.
All right, well, I'm excited for the potential to be your representative for 3rd District County Supervisor. I come from a long lineage of union workers. My great-grandfather was a part of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters Union, one of the very first African-American labor unions in the United States. My grandfather and 2 uncles were workers for the railroads, and having been a non-union employee and now as a UAW 5810 union member, I know firsthand how important unions are to providing workers with fair wages, safe working conditions, protection, and benefits so that workers can perform their jobs in safe environments and are able to provide for their families. As a council candidate, I was humbled when you endorsed me for city council, and over the past 3 years, I've worked hard to honor your values. I have a record of delivering for working class families on issues they care about generally, pushing the envelope on affordable housing, COVID-19 eviction moratorium and rental assistance, supporting essential union workers at the city of Santa Cruz, supporting community demands for meaningful climate action, working with building trades on community workforce agreement policy, which has been stalled due to a lack of majority support at the city council in Santa Cruz. And I will continue to fight for these values as county supervisor because these are the values that I share with you. I've stood with union members, ASME, NUHW, SEIU, UCSC grad students, and as a union member and county supervisor, I want to work with you to help shape the future of this community. And with historic levels of funding coming to address homelessness, health and human services, affordable housing and infrastructure, I believe that together we can build a diverse, environmentally healthy, and sustainable community that will allow people from diverse backgrounds to thrive and prosper. I'm a renter, I'm an environmental scientist, an educator, I'm a fluent Spanish speaker, member of UAW 5810, current city council member of Santa Cruz. I'm the first Black mayor of this, and during 2020 was mayor. And I believe my background and voice will bring a diverse perspective to Santa Cruz County that will be reflective of union values.
Thank you, Justin. Next up, we got Shebreh. Go ahead when the clock starts.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. Look, we all know that the last couple of years have not been easy. And it's been heartwarming the way that our community has worked hard to come together and find solutions to our problems together. So why should the Monterey Bay Central Labor Council endorse me? My lifelong career in public health, community building, and advocating for social change is based on my commitment to community well-being and my determination to create change. No matter how basic or complex the issue is, I listen, but I don't just listen. I absorb what I hear and I act on it. I seek out solutions that bring our community together. I listened to you all tonight, and what I heard is that you care about supporting our workers. You care about affordable housing. You care about a responsible law enforcement, and you care about workforce development, which I also did not respond to. So I'll just take a moment here and say that I've designed workforce development programs with our County Office of Education and our Workforce Development Board, and I would take these programs and designs to scale as a supervisor. As has been said, the middle class built America and labor unions built the middle class, and this continues to be true. But there are assaults on unions and their ability to organize and represent workers. Those must be combated, and I will work with you to do so. I will bring a unique perspective to the supervisors. I will be the first Iranian American immigrant woman to serve on the board and the first woman to serve on the board in, I believe, over 12 years. I'm inspired to contribute my background in public health at the county level and serve our community to work towards community well-being. I would be really honored to have your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Shebreh. Next up, we got Thomas Ramos.
Yes, hello. I would look forward to getting the endorsement of the unions because as an outsider, I just speak the truth. I don't have any other political aspirations other than serving this county, District 3. And essentially, I think having closed-door meetings, while I understand it's business as usual, are despicable. I think all meetings should be open to people. So I think a part of the problem that we've had with negotiations is we have the public face, we have the controlling face, and then we have people making decisions behind closed doors. I understand why, but I think it's wrong. I would love to see that open. I would like to see us work towards a prevailing wage situation so that unions aren't put under stress, so that people that are other contractors have to charge the exact prevailing rate of everyone. This supports the union, and the union creates the conditions that enable all people to live with respect and dignity. Again, I'm an outsider. I'd love your support. With me, you're going to get the truth, and I'm going to work for you, for all of Santa Cruz County, and for the union members also. Completely and openly the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. So that wraps up all of our questions, and I want to personally thank all of the candidates for taking the time, and it was great to hear from you, and really appreciate you seeking the support of labor. I'm going to pass this off to Daniel so he could close this out.